Greetings and welcome to another No Educator Left Behind production. My name is Vince Evans. I'm the co-author of No Educator Left Behind, and I'm also a school principal, so resumes are something that I work with quite frequently. We're going to go ahead and show you how to make one today. We're going to go from start to finish. This is our resume tutorial. So today we're going to go ahead and work with a fictional young man that we are going to call John D. Jones, and John is an aspiring teacher. He just graduated from college and he's looking for his first job. Some things John's probably going to want to have on hand to help him out with this are his transcript, maybe his work experience with some locations, dates, supervisors that he's had, etc. And and I don't mean dates with his supervisors, that would be awkward. I'm talking about dates that he worked in specific locations. And also certifications or licensures would be handy. So name goes at the top of a resume. We're going to create our heading to start with. And we're in 12-point font right now, and that's a good size for your resume. 11 or 12-point font is perfect. Don't go smaller than that. It'll be hard to read. Don't go bigger than that. It'll look silly. But what you can increase the size of is that name up top to just get a little attention. You can also bold it. I did that by pressing Command B. You can also use this in your formatting window. And something that I like to do, just to add a little extra touch, is to kick up the size of the very first letter in each one of the names here. The J, the D, and the last J. Here we go. That looks nice. We're going to space on down after that, and we're going to go back to our 12-point font that we talked about earlier. 11 or 12, that's what to stick with. This line that we're in right here is where we're going to put our basic information. So we want where John lives. Let's get rid of that bold. Go back to just regular print. Let's say John lives on 6103. Kick off my caps lock. Main Street. And he lives in a town called Anywhere in New York. His zip code there is 55555. Phone number, deemed that. John's feeling very Hollywood, so we're going to make his phone number 555-5555. He definitely wants to include his email, which happens to be jjones@email.com. And see how that hyperlinks? You don't want that to happen. Nothing else is underlined. So if you just press backspace a couple of times, it'll actually get rid of that for you. And last, let's say John's got an electronic portfolio, portfolio that he's built on a website. That would be a good place to note that. So he's got that at johndjones.com. The reason that you want to put that there, people try and work technology bits into their resume, and they'll put things like, I've got experience working with Microsoft Word. Well, yeah, what third grader doesn't have experience working with Microsoft Word? That doesn't make you stand out. But someone who has their own website, all right, that'll give you a bit of an edge. And if you don't know how to make a website, one, you can find somebody who does know how to do it to help you, or two, you can look online for some templates that are available, something like a Wix.com, W-I-X, real easy to get started there. Okay, so we've kind of bled over onto a second line here, and I don't like that. We're going to come back and fix that in a moment. For now, let's go and space down, though. There's another one of those sneaky hyperlinks. Just pressing backspace will get rid of it. We're going to insert a line here to kind of break from the rest of the body. So insert, picture, horizontal line. We're going to get a number to choose from. I'm not going to do anything too crazy. I don't want autumn leaves. It's a little more professional than that. How about etched double line? That sounds nice and serious. Ooh, looks pretty sharp too. Okay, so let's come back up here and see if we can get this up here. How can we do that? Couple things to try. We said 11-point font was okay, so let's try that. Didn't quite get us there. Okay, something else that I'm thinking about switching. What about if we tried a font that is just a little different style? Cambria is not really working for me this time anyway. I'm going to switch to something else. There's tons of choices. You don't want to use anything, too crazy. And I'm not going to go ahead and use Webdings for my resume. That's not exactly going to pull it off. Yeah, nobody's getting that job. But what about something like a Garamond? I'm probably saying that wrong, but try and sound all fancy in French. Garamond. Okay, looks nice, but notice still, 2 lines. What about if we come up to Format and try and alter our document just slightly? Here we can go ahead and look at margins. Now what I don't want to do is kick it off so it's way over here on the left and right side. That looks ridiculous. But if we take just a little bit out from the left and right side, then nobody's going to notice and it might give us the room that we need. Check it out. There we go. My line though, look at this. See how it left that little space there? I don't think the line went with the document to increase in size. Maybe if we try and insert it again. Picture, horizontal line, double etched. Sure enough, now it's as wide as the whole document. Looks much better. Okay, one more thing I might look at in my heading. I don't like how there's nothing separating these but 4 spaces. I bet we can find something. Let's go to Insert, and we are going to try Symbol. And here you got tons of different symbols to use. I don't want to use anything too crazy, but look, right here, just a standard bullet. Press Insert. There we go. That's a nice break. I'm going to put that right in the middle of each one of these. Hopefully we still have room and it keeps it all on one line. Sure enough. Good deal. Nice professional looking heading. Now we're ready to go ahead and get started on our body. Okay, before we move on too far, something that's crucial when working on a resume is that you want to make sure and save. So we've got our J. Jones resume, and we'll save away. That way we don't lose our work. If we run into any crazy formatting issues, we can just go ahead and back right up to where we saved last as well. All right, we don't need to be centered anymore, so I'm going to kick back to a left alignment, and I want to leave a little bit of space before we start working again. So space down a couple times. And something that you see frequently at the beginning of a resume, but it's definitely not crucial, is that you have your objective statement. Quite frankly, I'm not a huge fan of objective statements. We're going to go ahead and start with one, and I might come back and delete it later. It just depends on if we have room for it or not. And what this is it's just kind of a mission statement almost for what you're trying to accomplish right here. So I'm going to tab over and try and set up some basic columns here. And what's our objective going to be? We could say something like to educate and positively influence the lives of elementary students. Alright, we'll see if we like that or not. Like I said, they're really not my thing, but we'll start with it and see what happens. Next we're going to come down and we're going to have education be our next heading. And this is just going to be where we went to college essentially and what we did while we were there. So let's say our college name is Big State University. And that's going to be in our hometown of Anywhere, New York. And what did we do while we were there? Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you after I put a bullet here, and that's certainly not where I wanted my bullet to be. I wanted it to be back here under the B. I bet we can change that by coming over here and right-clicking. Let's see what kind of options we get. So you can decrease or increase where your bullets are at on your indent. Or if you want to get really fancy, you can come down here to bullets and numbering and get more specific. Let's see if we can decrease it back where we had in mind. Kind of jump back there and a little further. And I pressed increase. Now we're doing a little dance. I wonder if we'll get there. Well, not that time. Come on, you can do it. When I fight with bullets, I like to blame it on Bill Gates. I know it's not his fault, but it just makes me feel a little bit better. And what do you know? Ta-da, I made it. Now, like I said, if you want to get more specific, bullets and numbering right there. Okay, so what did we do while we were at Big State University? Well, we got a Bachelor of Science in Education. And that allows us to teach, let's say, grades K through 6. Might be different where you're at. It might be different in New York because I'm just kind of making this up as I go. It's all dependent on which state you're in and what the license there looks like. Now, something that you'll see frequently from newer teachers, and I definitely wouldn't recommend this for someone who's been in the education field for a while and has some experience, but for the newbies sometimes they'll also go ahead and put their GPA. And you don't want to put this unless you have a GPA that you can really flaunt. But if you've got a 3.9 and up or something similar like that, it's okay to get on there for a little bit of bragging rights. Let's say that's all I want to include about my college. I pressed enter, there's another bullet. All you want to do is press backspace and get rid of that bullet. We're going to come back on over here to the left side. Okay, so I've got my objectives, I've got my education. I really don't like how those are kind of getting lost in the mix over here, though. They don't stand out as much as I would like them to. I'm going to try the same trick we tried with our name, and I'm going to kick these up to a 14-point font on the very first letter. Okay, that gave me a little something, but I'm still not feeling it. What if we come back and we underline as well? Now we're talking. I think that looks substantially better. Okay, with education done, let's go ahead and talk about certification next. So once again, we're going to leave some space between. Looks like I'm doing 2 spaces in between each currently. We'll see if we got enough room for that. Certifications, uppercase, certifications, and I'm just going to go certification. I don't want to get too close to my column over there. And we said that we are going to start putting the first letter in 14 point. There we go, and an underline. Got it. Time for me to tab on over to that column. If you don't stop the underline, it'll come right with your tab, so turn that off. There we go. And what do I have in the way of certifications? Well, we're going to say John has a New York initial teaching license. Once again, not sure on the terminology in New York, just making that up as I go. You would want to make sure that you had it listed correctly. And then I'm going to tab back on over because we're also going to say that John has a ELL license, an ESOL license, whatever it might be called in your area. We'll say this one is a English for speakers of other languages license. And we'll say that's also applicable to grades K through 6. Good to get your certifications on there, especially if you are a new teacher. Whoever's looking to hire you will want to make sure that you're actually qualified for the job. Okay, we're going to go ahead and break here, but when we come back, we're going to keep working through this resume, and I'm going to show you some other things as well, like where you can download the specific resume online and just some other items that might help you out as you continue constructing your very own resume. So check back with us for part 2. I'm including the link here just to make things a bit easier on you.